Before we get into the main part of the video, there are 3 current promo codes by the time of this recording. First of all, we have Diaochan 1 Lu Bu. If you put this in, you should get 30 auto fights and a stamina pot, I'm pretty sure. I put it in a while ago. And then we also have Boss. I hope I'm not butchering this. Dong Zo? I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. That should give you 1 rare summon. And then we have the very interesting Star-Crossed Romance. And this one gives you a very interesting prize, which is the chest. This chest can give you 10 ancient shards, 200 diamonds, huge stamina potion, or a legendary skill crystal. This is the best promo code we've ever had. It is RNG, but it can be annoying, but let's see what we get. And I got 200 gems. Pretty par for the course. Let's get into the rest of the video, though. Hey guys, I know I'm really late to be doing this, but we have a lot of banners this weekend, and I figured I would just quickly go over how you guys should be summoning, because there's 3 really good banners. They're not must pulls where your account's going to be bricked forever if you don't pull on them, but they are all very solid banners that I would recommend you guys look at and think about pulling on. And I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of extra perspective. So hopefully I can, help y'all out with that. Now, I'm just going to immediately go into it. The main highlight of the weekend is Diaochan, who is a limited hero. So with limited heroes, even if you don't think they're going to be as game-breaking, because I mean, she's not Wukong level, right? Because no limited should ever be similar to Wukong, in my opinion, because Wukong kind of broke the game a little bit there. But she's not going to be that strong, but she is going to be the best inspiration unit in the game, I would say. And she also has a whole other part of her kit where she heals, she does damage reduction, all of that. I do think Diaochan is someone you guys should be pulling the 200 for no matter what. Because what if, like a month down the line, you're like, damn, I wish I had Diaochan for this. And you never get her again. Like, that's what kind of happens with these limiteds, right? We haven't had Gwendolyn back, and she's only come once, right? What if that happens here? It's all unanswered questions on when these heroes will return. So I think you have to pull for her, or it's just a bad play. She is, though, once again, the best inspiration unit in the game. She's 2 heroes in 1. Really, really good. Her A1 is insanely strong because she has Dolores range at A0, but at A1 it gets quite a bit bigger, and it's just so much better. So I would definitely pull for her 10 times out of 10. Also, if you are playing like an earlier account, Astrid is a must pull. Just a heads up there. She's incredibly rare usually, and I would say you kind of need to pull for her. Personally, I'm going to pull on this banner a ton. Anyways, we move on to the next blue banner. This one you can pull divines on, but these are both blue banners. We got the guaranteed here and the normal banner here. Twyla and Hex are both very good. This is definitely a very solid banner to pull on. First of all, Hex is one of the best boss killers in the game. Infernal Piercer. He's a great piercer for things like Guild Boss 1. You could use him in stuff like Guild Boss 2, but he really, really shines in more like Guild Boss 1 type of areas where he's debatably the best DPS outside of like A5 Wukong. And there's a lot of areas he's good in. I would say you kind of have to have a Hex if you really want to try to, cover your entire base line of like good legendaries. He's very, very good. In general, I use my Hex all the time. If you can get his exclusive artifact, he hits like a truck. Gear Dungeon 2, he's not required, but he's close to being required because he's like the only way to get an easy Gear Dungeon 2 clear. He's just amazing, and I would highly recommend pulling for him if you do not have him. Then again, it is a 15x. It's not a limited banner, so you are not guaranteed to get him, which automatically makes this banner less interesting than the Diaochan banner, because Diaochan, the first copy, is guaranteed after 200 pulls. Now, Twyla is one of the best boss killers in the game. She has a lot of penetration, which is great for Guild Boss 2. She's one of the best Guild Boss 2 damage healers. Nightmare, really, really good. She's actually really good in Arena if you don't have a Valderon or Pope team for single target. You can make it work if you have Corridor. which a lot of people have Torador now because of that legendary hero pack. But if you don't have him, she's going to not get as much use, but she's still going to be pretty good. She's just a boss killer. She only has 1 tile range, which means that you can only really place her in Go Boss 1 and 2, Arena, maybe 1 or 2 other areas. She's good, though. She does a lot of damage. That's the main draw for her. Of course, they are also bond skills, but their bond skills they're not really that important because they both need to be on the field for most of these things. Twyla reduces first deployment cost if you have Hex on your account, and each time Hex draws a card, increases her crit damage up to 60%. It's really good, but you have to use both. And then Hex is if Twyla's already on the field, so this is contingent on Twyla being there. It reduces his cost by 4. And then when he gets hit and he goes into his like invincibility phase with one of his abilities, he gets a shield. That's the thing that's permanent that you don't need Twyla on the field for. It's fine, but it's not really that important. I would say if you need either of these 2 heroes, it's definitely worth it, especially because we don't know what to expect later. Like, if we think about it, what are some banners we're going to get? Probably just normal heroes, right? Like, maybe we'll get an element banner or a comet banner or something. You know, these are just me listing off good heroes, right? There's nothing really to look forward to because after Valentine's, we have what? Easter and then no holidays until like friggin' forever from now, right? So we're probably going to enter like the save for anniversary type of zone, or we're going to get like some random banners to try to get us to spend or use summons on certain banners, but nothing's really coming, right? So it is not a bad idea, in my opinion, to summon this weekend. But like I said, Diaochan, in my opinion, is someone you should be pulling for 10 times out of 10, in my opinion. Just bring something more than anyone else. And then Twyla and Hex, if you don't have them, you really, really want them. Hex has great awakenings and stuff. Twyla's A1 is really good. Hex's A3 is really good. Stuff like that. If you want to go for that, you can. But this one's more optional than this one, in my opinion. And moving on to the ancient banner, the kind of last one to talk about. And that is the fact that we are getting Yuar and Lu Bu. So I am kind of a Lu Bu defender a little bit. I've used him. His main issue is he's literally just Ardea, but worse. And that's kind of frustrating. When you can get his HP down to a good level, they do about the same damage. But the issue with him is you can't really lower his HP very much without him just dying to enemies. So you're not going to be getting that damage. So if you have Ardea, he is a skip. If you want the bond skill for Diaochan, even though it's like it only applies to her or something apparently, it's like you can go for that if you want to have her live a little bit easier. It is completely up to you. But Lu Bu, the thing is, Ardea is so strong that even 70% of Ardea is really strong. And if you don't have any other options for like Arena or GVG, or you think you could place him somewhere really good, he is worth pulling for. But I think his only places he's really going to shine are Arena, GVG, and frickin' Conqueror Codex and stuff. You know, Ardea is not that usable in that much content. And since he's just a worse Ardea, it kind of complicates things. But I would still say this banner is good because Yuar is alongside him. So you're not really pulling for him. You're pulling for Yuar. Yuar, in my opinion, is the 3rd best lord in the game. Some people will say Valderon is better than Yuar, which is fair. I can see that argument, of course. I just think Yuvar is more usable in more areas of content. Yuvar is a little weird. There's 2 reasons where I think this is a must pull for Yuvar. One of them is if you care immensely about GVG, like me. I am pulling on this banner because I want Yuvar Awakenings because he is by far, and it is not close, the best Lord BP in the game. It's not close. You can get a Yuvar hypothetically up to 123, 124k. And then after bonuses, he's the highest BP unit in the game. Pretty comparable to Uridan, but it's really close, and you have to have a Lord on your roster at high level GVG. I'm at high level GVG. I would love to get some more Yuvar copies. That is why I am pulling. The other thing that I would say why you should pull for Yuvar if you do not have him is if you don't have a Piercer Lord in general, I think he's kind of a must pull, purely because while Kratos, Ingrid, what's it called? Valderon, they're all like, you should have them. They're really strong. They don't really get the use that having no Piercer Lord into U of R has. The jump from no Piercer Lord to U of R is like the biggest jump out of any Lord. It's kind of insane because something like Lunaria or Eliza just sucks so much, and they don't have like any good Lord skill, and they're bad units. And then you get to U of R, who's like really good on his own, and then has the best piercer buff on like a Silas, a Hex. Piercers are some of the best faction in the game because of these really key units. And Yovar is the best lord for them. I use Yovar everywhere. He's comparable to my Ingrid and my Praetus in terms of how often I use him, because he's just that good. So I do think he is a must pull if you don't have any Piercer Lord. The thing is, if you have a Raka, he will help your account a ton because he's much better than Araka, but you do not need to pull for him. The thing is, if we thought there would be like an Ingrid Praetus banner coming, sometime soon, then maybe I would say hold off. But we just had Ingrid and Praetus banners. The only thing that could be coming later is Valderon or Ymrit, which obviously Ymrit for GVG is debatably the best unit for it, one of the best units. And Valderon, a lot of people want Valderon more. I mean, Chaotic Lords are harder to come by, blah, blah, blah. It is up to you by the end of the day. But I do not expect to get an Ingrid or Praetus banner in the next, 4 months. I think it is unlikely. So I don't think it's really the end of the world to pull now, but it is completely up to you once again. Personally, just to summarize, I know I've been yapping for a while. I just like the yap. You guys know that. Diaochan, I think you have to pull for. Limited hero, best inspiration in the game. If you don't have her for certain things, you're probably going to cry because she just makes things easy as hell. The thing is, having 100% uptime, even if the inspiration is not as high as some of the other units like Dolores, is just better in most things. And especially for auto fights, she's going to be perfect because you're not going to have to deal with the terrible auto fights in this game. And then Twyla Hex, if you are missing one, I would say look into it, but it is up to you. 15Xs are a little scuffed right now, and I really hope they increase the rates eventually. I know it's a thing that, I'm gonna just be real. I asked them, and they said they're thinking about it. So hopefully that comes to fruition soon. So you just want to be careful about pulling on these because you are likely to get a banner hero. It's still like a 40% chance to get one of the two banner heroes, but to get the one that you want, obviously less, and it can just be kind of a mess. So it is completely up to you on those. And ancient 15Xs do work. So if you are keen on getting Yovar, who, trust me, is amazing. I think he's a top 3 lord in the game, personally. Minimum, he's top 4. I don't think it's really that debatable. But either way, he's really good. I would pull for him. But Lu Bu is kind of whatever, right? He's kind of whatever. He's good, but he's not going to change your account that much. So that's kind of my verdict. Just hoping to give some insight where I can. I will also be doing viewer summons if you want to sign up on the sheet. It will only be on Sunday, so I can not stream 3 days in a row again for viewer polls, because that can get a little draining for me pretty fast. Waking up early and then doing all that. It's not like the end of the world, but this time I'm going to try out just doing them one day. So if you want to sign up, please do. I would appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching, and Destined signing out.